Hello everybody! This is going to be our quick editing tutorial. You've already got the other videos to watch about Bridge and some simple editing that you can do in there. And so I'll show you how I use Bridge. I really use it just to manage my files. I don't really do any editing in there, but it's a really good companion to Photoshop. So they work so well together, and it's just, makes everything so much easier. So however you guys are uploading your pictures to your computer, or if you're finding them on your phone, I'll show you some different things. So I'm going to start out in Bridge. So here's Bridge. Just got the brand new, what is it, 11.1 or something like that. So once you have it, it'll just ask you for updates if you want to update it, forever and ever. So that's really nice. Okay, so this shows me, like here, in the left are places I can go to look for things. I can either start with my computer, and then if I have a memory card put in, let's see, I'll show you that. Any of you that use SD cards still, some of us, I think your Canons might still use these, or you might need an adapter, to hook it up to your computer if you are using that. Okay, so now that I've entered it, stuck it in the slot, I can go look at the pictures that I have on there if I want to. So that's like one way. Oh boy, these are old. So cute. My nephew. So I'm just going to go back to computer, and then you can see there's that memory card. And then this little caret right here takes me to a bunch of other places on my computer. So I can go to my desktop. If you keep things in your documents or your pictures, or I usually put things on my desktop. So what I'm going to do, and my desktop is really a mess right now, so yeah, lots going on. So I'm going to go to our pictures, and so I can show you some things that I talked about in the feedback video. So for example, here's Holly's, and so I can see everything that's in that folder. You see the chain here. It goes from, it's on my desktop, and then it's in my folder that I created called Photo Walk, which is our first assignment. I'm going to double click on Holly's, because I see that, and that'll take me right to Photoshop. Now, if it is a RAW file rather than a JPEG, it'll take me right into Camera Raw, which is awesome. And I did show you that in the using raw files video that's in Unit 1, I believe. So let's say, with this wonderful picture right here, that we want to straighten the horizon. So straighten is part of crop. So here's the crop tool over here. This is my toolbar. If you want to notice some things about my screen, my choices, I am using, let me just check. I'm using Window Workspace Photography. So that's, the tools for photography are all found in there. And then there's other things, there's a million things in here, and it's easy to get lost. So I'm just going to show you a few things. So now I'm in the photography plan right here. The photography, what do they call it, mode. Oh, it's a workspace. Okay. So I click on crop. And then up here, there's a little level. Have you ever seen one of those tools that you can set on top of something and has a little green bubble? And then when the bubble's in the middle, it shows that it's level. So that's what this picture is. I used to think it was a suitcase. Then I figured it out. It occurred to me. So I am going to straighten. So see, now I have the little level on my cursor. So I want to straighten the horizon. So I'm just going to click on one side of the horizon and then drag to the other side. And then bing! Look at that. Perfectly straight now. Also, in the crop window, it shows you rule of thirds, which is really handy. You know, so if you wanted to place your subject directly on the rule of thirds, you know, say maybe this cow right here, he is the star of the show. But I kind of like seeing the clouds, and I'm just going to hit return, and then that is done. It's straightened. Yay! I mean, so it's such a simple thing and so helpful. Now say, you know, part of it got cropped out, something that was really important to you. You know, there's other ways of doing it. So if I want to go back, I'm just going to go Edit, Undo Crop, and then I'm back to the original. So, I don't know, some secret ways you can do things are you can go Edit, let's see, no, it's File. File, no it isn't. Oh, I know why, I have to unlock it. So see the little lock over here in the layers? If you double click on that, it's going to make it into an unlocked layer. So now Edit, Transform. I can either do Rotate, I can do Skew, I can even try Perspective. So there's a bunch of different things in Transform that you can do. Like say I wanted to rotate. See, I get this little elbow here, elbow arrow thingy, and I can turn it. I mean, it's more steps, but if there's something that you wanted to keep, and then I just hit Enter to go back, and then maybe I gotta get rid of these empty areas. So I can just do that by dragging in the corners. And say you really like this cow right here. Remember how we said it kind of leads our eye through the picture? I'm going to hit return right there, and I'm going to fix this another way. So the other way to fix it is Edit, Transform, and then you can skew it a little bit. And it will only be just a little bit. So see the little squares on the corners? You can take one of those and you can just tweak it a little bit, and hopefully we save our cow. See that? We did it, and we didn't really make any, it didn't make it look weird. I use skew all the time. So Edit, Transform, and then here's your different things that you can experiment with. And I just wanted to get that little, did you see there was like a little piece of the picture missing down there? I always go back to the Move tool because that pretty much ends everything. You can click on the layer. Well, it used to. So I usually try to click on something so I can see the edges of my picture. Used to be Move tool, but once I went back to crop, you know, I can see all my edges. So from here, now there's a bunch of things that we can do, adjustments that we can make. So if you want to do some real quick and easy editing, say you don't have to straighten anything, you don't have to crop anything, you don't really have any problems, but maybe you want to increase the saturation, you know, make it a little brighter and more colorful. Two ways to do that. Up here, we have Image, Adjustments, and then all of these things are fun to try. The best ones to start with are Brightness, Contrast, and Hue, Saturation. Everybody loves those two, and they're really easy places to begin. They're not only there, but they're also over here. So Brightness, Contrast, you see when you mouse over it, it tells you what it is. And I can try increasing the contrast. And sometimes that just sharpens things up a bit, creates more of a difference. So contrast is difference. And if I think it's too dark, I could increase the brightness. Okay, you see, you can play with those things, and sometimes that just is brilliant, just on its own. Okay, so I'm done with that tool. Now maybe I want to do hue saturation. Maybe I want to brighten up my colors, even though I think they're pretty good so far. I can do a global saturation, which just means everything will be affected. I can try that, and just take it easy on this, because if it starts to look like it has specks all over it, you've gone too far. So, I mean, that's really nice and subtle, just up +5. Say I wanted to make the grass look super green. Then instead of a global adjustment down here, I can click on this little drop down, and I can choose the color that I want to adjust. Maybe I want just my greens to be more saturated. So you see, it's just very subtle changes, but it, brightens up the whole picture. So those are, I don't want to get too deep into anything right now. I want you guys to have an easy week and not be too stressed. So over here in my layers, you can see there's my original picture, and these are the adjustments that I made. So if I click on the little eye, you can see what it would look like before, after, before, after. Okay, and here, same with hue saturation. Before, after. So that green, change in the green, the brightness of the green, very, very subtle. So I tried not to go too far. Maybe you hate this. Maybe you like it just like it was originally, and you want to do this and go back to the original and try something different. You can either turn off your layers, or you can click on a layer, drag it down here to the trash can, and then it's gone. And what you have here now is a Photoshop document. So you got to decide, do I want to save it as a Photoshop working document? They are huge files. I'll tell you that right now. They will take up a lot of memory, but sometimes you're just not finished working on something and you want to spend a little bit more time on it. I think I'm going to go back to brightness contrast and see if I like it better. One thing I really want to do is kind of brighten up the cow's face. But that would be more complicated. So I'm going to leave that for another day and show you how to save it. So I'm going to go up here to File, which is just above my screen's window, but it's right up above this, the edge of Photoshop. So File, and then I can do Save As, and I've got some options here. It's automatically saving it as a Photoshop document. So remember that I said that's the big file that will maintain all of your adjustments over here so that you can keep working, change things back, whatever you want to do. And it's asking me, where do I want to save this? So here I can use my drop-down menu and it finds recent places, or I can find other places over here. Say you wanted to save it to that memory card that you have. I'm just going to go right to my desktop, and I can do Format Photoshop, or I could save it as a copy. And if I do that, then I get more options. So now I can save it as a JPEG, and it automatically changes that file extension. So this is a compressed version of that file, but that's okay. For our purposes this week, we're not going to worry about that at all. We just have to, if we want to rename it, if we want to tell it where to go, and this is the format, and then save. Okay, and then it wants to know, do you like it at this quality, like the maximum quality, or would you want it a lesser quality? I always go maximum. I can always change the size later. Okay, so now I have saved that to my desktop. I'm going to go try another one. I'm going to close this. I don't want to change Holly's original document, so I'm going to hit Don't Save. And I want to go back to the bridge, so I can just go back to the little icon down here in my toolbar. And let's see what I want to do now. What else? Ooh, I was going to try like, I hesitate to show you something too complicated, but this is really, really fun. So I think I'm just going to throw this little bonus in here for you. So Ivy, just double clicked on that. Remember how she had these extra things in that were kind of competing with her subject? You can fix that very easily. So here I can double click, unlock the layer, and then this is patch tool. See how it looks like a little patch, so like we used to sew on things before you guys were born, most of you. So if you click on the patch tool, what you do is you go click and then drag a line around the thing that you want to get rid of. Okay, see the little marching ants that made around it? Now I'm going to click on that piece and drag it over to a similar place. Da-da! And then if I do another one, the first one will disappear. The first little selected area. I'm going to go carefully around, and I'm also getting the shadows. Okay, and once I get all the way around, I let go, unclick, and then let's see, this one might be a little tricky. Might need to do it 2 pieces at a time, or 1 piece at a time. Let's see. Yeah, see, that didn't work out. So I'm going to go Edit, Undo Patch Selection, and I'm going to try it again. Okay, I'm going to just try a piece at a time. Down here. Not too bad. It's not a perfect thing, but it is really helpful, I feel. Especially if you feel like you got this great image. Just gotta be careful not to touch anything else. It's doing like a reflection now. So I'm gonna try it again with the other side. Don't you hate how things don't go as exactly as you planned? Especially when you're doing a tutorial. So that is a tricky area. Not as easy to do as the other one, but I find this to be less of a competition. So that one's easy. This one will be easy. And then I can show you how to fix this little thing up here. So we can try a clone stamp. We can clone. For clone stamp, you have to, do you see my little cursor there? I can make it bigger if I want to. And I just do that by hitting right bracket. And I can get a bigger size brush. You can also change it up here. Make it bigger, smaller. Harder means it's a total chunk of a selection. And softer would mean it has blurred edges. So you can experiment with trying that. I like the hard edges usually. Okay, so now I want to stamp this pattern up here to try and cover some of that. So I have to do Option, click, and now it has grabbed a little bit of that texture on my brush. Do you see? The only thing to remember with clone stamp is you have to keep dipping your brush, like dipping the brush. So I'm going to have to go again, get another little bit of texture, Option, click, and I can fix up another little piece. Okay, Option, click. So you see where this is going. Now you might start to get a little nervous when you get close to your subject, so you can zoom in. Zoom is it's down here. You can do, just like when you're making text bigger on a web page. Oops. You can do Command plus, and then I believe on PC it's Control plus. So see, now I can get as close as I want, and so I can really see what's going on. And here's my slider to go up, and you can see that it's not perfect, but you know, to the naked eye, it's pretty good. And when you get close to things, you just gotta be careful. You might even want to make your brush smaller. And then finally, I know I'm getting way more complex than I thought I should, but I did it. You can blur things out to blend them. Ooh, that's it. See how big my brush was there? I must have been doing something massive. So you can try and blur it to blend it a little better. You can try and, this is sharpen, this is blur, it's also smudge. So same thing for smudge. And you just do it, it's like you're softening lines with an eraser. So you're smudging it a little bit. Sometimes that kind of thing takes a while, but do you see how I'm just kind of blending it back together? So anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, so let's see, I'm going to zoom back out so you can see that that area that I wanted to fix is looking pretty good up here, right? And then of course with the peacock, you might want to go into brightness contrast, you might want to go into hue saturation. If you don't see your toolbar over here, it's probably just hiding. You see, you can hide it with these little arrows. So you can look at all the steps that you've done. Say you want to get rid of everything. Go back to the beginning. You can go up as far as you want to go and go back to that step and start from there. So that's pretty sweet too. I don't usually keep this open because it kind of gets in my way, but I wanted to show you where to find your adjustments. So this is libraries or adjustments. And then, you know, you can mouse over these and see what all those things are and just play around. All kinds of fun stuff in here. All kinds of fun stuff in your image adjustments. Things that you can experiment with. And remember, edit, transform, and those tools. Okay? Let's see if I can think of anything else that I wanted you to try. I think I pretty much covered everything and probably gone on a little too long even. Yes, I did. Oops. Okay, sorry about that, but I hope that you have fun editing this week. Remember, you don't have to do your editing in Bridge. You could just use it as like a managing software so that you can see all of your pictures. You can change the size of the little thumbnails. You know, and then you can just look at them that way. You can change it through all the ways that you look at things. Do I want them to be a list? Do I want them to be thumbnails? Do I want to just know all of their details? Isn't that fascinating? Do I want to know the day that I created it? You know, and just the title and how big it is. Things like that. So anything beyond that for this week I really wouldn't worry about. Just, you know, kind of start to get comfortable with it. And this will always, double clicking will always open that image in Photoshop. Alrighty? Okay, send me your questions. I know you're going to have some, I hope. And I will talk to y'all soon.